everybody. Welcome to the Sports Unfolded NBA Ranking Show. I'm your host, Eric. My big dog right there, Kenny.
What's going on?
How are you? So a lot has changed. We are completely different now, man, because this was the last ranking show of the season. So 24 weeks of rankings, believe it or not. That's how many weeks you did for me. 24 weeks. We are finishing up the regular season, and then we're going to be discussing some playoffs. But I want to thank you, obviously, for all your hard work this NBA season, and I look forward to just going over this list.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Oh, let's go playoffs. It's my
Playoff
Christmas
time, baby.
It's Christmas
This is when it
for me.
matters.
It's Christmas for me.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk about this number 5 team who wanted to stay in. They refused to lose. And that would be the Golden State Warriors. They are the 5th team on the list. They're 53-29 on the season. So not a bad record. 33-19 overall in the Western Conference. 6-4 in their last 10, but they've won 5 straight, Kenny.
Yeah.
And I correlated to the fact that we've discussed for several weeks now that they would be off the list, and they refused to do it. So they won 5 straight to make sure they finished on the list at the end of the season. But what can you tell us about the Golden State Warriors and what the outcome of this season was and why they were 5th?
They didn't give up. They had injuries. Clay came back. Day is one in one game, out the other, on TV, analyzing this, analyzing that. But they just continue to not give up. And Steve Kerr is an excellent coach. Excellent coach.
Yeah, I think with them collectively, the entire team started to step up. Andrew Wiggins played better basketball. Poole has stepped into that role and been very good for them. So you saw a lot of other guys contributing, especially with Steph being out. Any prognosis on his status for the playoffs? Have you heard anything?
Yeah, I heard that he won't be back game 1. And if not, that's a big, huge problem because they need him. They need him. Right now, their offense, even though they won 5 games in a row, their offense is stagnant. He gets that ball moving, With him, you got to pick your poison. Either you double team him or you double team Clay, or you got to make the others score.
So, little concerning with the Golden State Warriors. But, I mean, look, they've been there before. They know how to win. I think that's the one part of it. You want to go into the playoffs hot.
Yes.
So them winning 5 straight, that's a good sign. At least the team's starting to come together. But this number 4 team, my friend, I don't know if a little bias there. I know how you feel about them. They're in the background. That's the Boston Celtics, who came in at 51-31 and 33-19 overall in the conference, 7-3 in their last 10. They're on a 1-game win streak. My question to you is this. At the beginning of the year, we saw so much from the Boston Celtics that made us believe they wouldn't be in this position. What has changed over the course of the last couple of months that makes you, A, put them on this list at 4, but B, going into the playoffs gives you some confidence as what they can do?
The way they're playing together is like you said. Remember when you said, can Jason Tatum go to the next step? He's going to have to. He is going to have to. He's going to have to see the open man. He's going to have to score when he can score and not hurry it. Sometimes he hurries it. He gets to the basket and, he just wants to, foul. Hey, keep playing. Keep playing. See the open man. And the only thing I'm worried about is the bench. That's the only thing I'm worried about is the bench.
Yeah, because all you really have coming off the bench that I feel confident with is Grant Williams. And I'm not saying confident in the way, but he's the only guy that really contributes a lot.
Yeah.
White as well. Sometimes depends. He can be hot or cold. That's concerning to me. And then we've talked about this the other day, Kenny, and I want to get your opinion on this. We've kind of questioned the fact that they're the 2 seed in the East. We were a little concerned because it's a good chance that they're going to play Brooklyn, who's playing now currently. I don't even know the score of that game. I'll have to check that out in a little bit.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
So we're playing Brooklyn is basically what you're telling me?
Okay.
So we were talking about the fact that we thought they were trying to avoid them by benching Tatum and Horford against the Bucks.
Yeah.
Bucks end up losing. We win. We're in the 2 seed. Yeah. So my question to you would be, if Boston is legitimately going to contend for the title, would you not want to see Jason Tatum face the best competition early on and show that he's taken that next step into superstardom?
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. If he wants to prove it, he has to prove it now in the playoffs. Because let me tell you something, it's a different kind of beast. Regular season, yeah, that's how you get there. But playoffs, it's a different kind of beast.
So what about the Robert Williams situation? Have you heard anything on his status? Is he definitely out for round 1, or is there a possibility that we could still see Robert Williams in round 1?
There's possibility. A real possibility. And I'm hopeful. I am hopeful that he comes back round 1.
You think about what he brings defensively to the team. It just amplifies, what they do when it comes to the team defense.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's just become a shot blocker, rebounding machine inside for them. And it's hard to match those points. Like Daniel Tice is a solid backup guy that comes in, brings you energy. But what you're asking him to do, I don't think he could consistently do.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah.
So if they face Brooklyn, your biggest concern going into that playoff match would be?
Our bench.
The bench?
Yeah.
What about Kyrie? So the last time Kyrie played Boston in the playoffs, the stomp on Lucky, basically, he was extremely motivated. Do you feel like they allowed him to kind of get away with some stuff because of his past with the Boston Celtics?
Yeah, basically, yeah. But I believe Marcus Smart will lock him up.
So you think that in the past and they've moved on from that?
Yeah, they moved on for that. Yeah, they moved on from that.
All right. So what about this number 3 team? That's the Miami Heat. 53-29 on the season, 35-17 in the Eastern Conference, 6-4 in their last 10. Again, another team that we were kind of discussing for the most part, stayed on this list pretty consistently throughout. Biggest star, Jimmy Butler, we would say. Bam Adebayo is another player that you obviously have to look out for. They're the 1 seed in the East. Do we feel like they're a pretty sure bet to get into the Eastern Conference Finals, or is that just a matter of the other teams just didn't catch them fast enough?
Yeah, I'm still not sold on the Miami Heat. I know that their record is good, but it's just I'm still not sold on the Miami Heat. I mean, Coach Spo is an outstanding coach, but can he get them to play playoff basketball? I don't know. I'm just not sold. Their bench doesn't produce enough for me. Jimmy Butler can't do it all by himself, and he's not a real shooter. I mean, he can get to the basket. You know what I'm saying? He can draw some fouls, but he's not a real good shooter, and he's terrible from 3 points. 3-point line.
So I would say if I was a Miami Heat fan, I think I'm more concerned about the adversity because they seem like when they have some adverse moments, that's the infighting. That's when they don't kind of play together. They start to question each other's abilities. Jimmy Butler, I mean, is usually open about his feelings towards guys when they're not producing.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they're going through a playoff stretch where, look, they lose a bad game or maybe 2, all of a sudden their mentality, can Spoelstra get them to break out of that and feel comfortable and continue to win? They had some bad stretches this season where, when they lost 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And then they bounce back. But in the playoffs, you can't go down 0-3 and then expect to be able to come back and win 4 straight. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be my biggest concern with Miami. Again, Spoelstra has been there, understands it. I think Tyler Hero has been a remarkable signing for them to keep him on that team and what he's been able to do from a 3-point standpoint and keep them involved. To your point, though, I think Jimmy Butler needs to become Jimmy Butler of old, where it's not about taking threes, it's about driving and then getting your teammates involved. Because I think if he's going to continue to shoot the ball at 23%, I think he was from 3-point range.
Yep.
You're not going to win many playoff matchups that way.
No.
So if you were going to put and I always do this to you, and even though you're not a big gambler, I love to put the money in Vegas, Miami Heat, Eastern Conference Finals. How much money are you putting down? You got $1,000 to play with, Kenny.
I'm keeping my money.
You're not even putting a dollar on them.
No.
So
no.
you don't even got them going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So there was a team in the East that you left off, Milwaukee Bucks, defending champions, same record as Boston. Do you feel like they're still the cream of the crop when it comes to the East based on what they did last season?
No. I don't know what it is, but something's missing. Something is missing. And they have the same team. A couple of guys are gone, but something is missing from that team. You know, I mean, Giannis is still a great player. Giannis is still a great player. Yeah. Middleton's is a solid player, yo. Drew Holiday, solid player, but something is missing from that team, and I don't know what it is.
You know, sometimes once you win, it's harder to fight the second time.
Yeah.
To get back there because you've already done it. It's when you're trying to get there, that's when you fight the hardest, right?
Yeah.
And then once you've reached that plateau, it's the really good teams, the Jordans of the world that just refuse to lose and didn't want to Kobe's. You know what I mean? The Birds, the Magics. When those guys got there, they were putting 120, even though they gave 110 during the regular season, because they wanted that extra 10, because they wanted to keep getting those championships. I think that's what you're talking about with Milwaukee. I just feel like they're complacent in the fact that they got there, and they think it's going to just be an easy ride because they've done it before. And I think the East has definitely improved this year. The East has definitely improved.
Yep.
But let's talk about this West team. Memphis Grizzlies at number 2, 56-26 overall on the season, 36-16 in the conference, 7-3 in their last 10. They had a bad loss to Boston, but pretty much sat every starter that they had. So it was their bench versus Boston starters. So are we to believe the Memphis Grizzlies are a legitimate contender for the Western Conference?
Yes, most definitely. I seen the score on my phone before I was starting to watch it, and I was saying, "Oh my God, we're beating the Grizzlies! That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what we're talking about." And I turned it on and said, "Oh, they ain't got no starters in. Oh, no wonder why.
No Ja,
no Bane,
right?
Yeah,
they pretty much shot everybody.
We should be winning. You know what I'm saying? We should be winning. But
so, are the Grizzlies legit? Look, it's been no secret. Phoenix Suns have had the best record all season, been the best team in the West.
Yep.
Have continued to dominate. There will be, once we get to them at number 1, we'll have some conversations. Can the Grizzlies beat Phoenix? If we feel they can contend with anybody else in the West, and to me, the West is a lot easier than the East. I feel like the West teams, I mean, they're good, but there's 2 teams that have been so consistent throughout, and that would be Memphis and Phoenix. Yeah. You got your Utahs that are a good team, solid team, but they've been inconsistent when it comes to just right. Dallas, we don't know what's going on with Luka and the injury.
Yeah,
they don't have Luka. Dallas is done.
Yeah, right.
So, to me, Memphis and Phoenix will be in the Western Conference Finals. Does Memphis have enough to get past Phoenix?
Yeah. Yes. There's some young kids. They like to run. Yeah. So I know Phoenix run too, but they got old legs. These Memphis Grizzlies got young legs.
So Kenny,
reminds me of
you're in Vegas now. You're in Vegas, baby. $1,000. How much you putting on the Memphis Grizzlies to win the Western Conference Finals?
I'm putting $800 on them.
What? $800.
I'm putting $800 on them.
You're being almost all in on them.
Yeah, So
you're giving a 1 in 5 chance that Phoenix beats them.
Yeah,
is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, if they can get rid of the first round real quick, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The keys to playoffs is rest. Go in there, handle your business,
Yeah,
Get a
and if you
couple of
think
days
about it,
off.
right, they got lucky. Ja was out for 9 games, got some rest. He came back, still looked good.
Woo.
Again, they rested some guys at the end of the season here. Steven Adams,
Yep.
who's played very well for them. Bain, who's played very well for them.
Ending.
It'll be it's going to be very interesting. So at number 1, obviously, we got the Phoenix Suns. Was 64-18, had the best record in the NBA, 39-13 in the conference, 6-4 in their last 10. Chris Paul back, seems extremely healthy. Devin Booker, Ayton, Bridges, Johnson off the bench.
Yep.
Western Conference Finals champions last season. That 1-5, you're still going with 1-5 for Phoenix.
Yeah.
To beat.
Yeah.
So you don't think the experience of last season, them losing. We just talked about Milwaukee maybe taking a step back because they're not as hungry. Phoenix has got to be hungry. They want to eat, bro.
They are, and I tell you, Chris Paul wants it so bad, and he deserves it. But it all depends. That first round, can you handle your business? Can you handle your business and get rest? Can you handle your business? Sweep.
So I just did the hockey show with Ron within the last hour. We talked about the Colorado Avalanche and how they choke in the playoffs. Reminds me a little bit of the Indianapolis Colts when they had Peyton Manning. Would we consider Chris Paul like a Peyton Manning? Great regular seasons. Somehow in the playoffs, always seems to stumble.
Yeah. That could be, but I don't know. I mean, he's on a mission this year. I mean, even though he was injured, he's getting double after game after game after game.
You know the thing with Chris Paul, he's so likable. You want to like this guy.
Yeah.
The State Farm commercials, I think they do such a good job with them. They utilize his talent, and they've created this guy that you just feel bad for if he doesn't get there. Like, I just want to see him get there and win it because I'm like, he's so good at. And we shared the other day a stat about the teams that he's been on, and they've all had the best winning season in franchise history. So New Orleans, when he was with they weren't even were they the Pelicans then? New Orleans Pelicans. No, they were the
Hornets.
The Hornets. That's right. The New Orleans Hornets.
Yep.
Houston.
Yeah.
Right. They had the highest winning total in history. Now with Phoenix.
Clippers.
The Clippers.
He changed that organization around. Yep.
Right. So yeah, I mean, you feel bad because you know the guy's such a good player, and yet somehow every year he comes up and something happens. To me, Devin Booker is more important to Phoenix in the playoffs than Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Devin Booker has to be the guy.
Yeah.
Chris Paul just need facilitate, get the ball to the players. Look, get your 10 points, your 12 assists. Devin Booker needs to be a 30-point a night guy.
Yeah. He needs to be on the money, and their bench needs to be on the money too.
So I'm just curious. I mean, as well as they've played, you don't have as much confidence in them getting to the finals.
I do, but if they play Memphis, it's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be a real struggle.
So Memphis being young doesn't scare you?
No, not at all. Not at all. The way they're playing, and it really doesn't matter who's in the lineup because they're all hungry. They are all hungry.
All right, let's take a look at this list here. See what you came up with. And we had it's coming. There it is. The Golden State Warriors at 5. So this is the end of the regular season now. So there ain't no changing what you've seen on this screen. Golden State Warriors came in as the 5th best team overall for the regular season. The Boston Celtics at 4. The Miami Heat at 3. Memphis Grizzlies at 2. And the Phoenix Suns, best team overall regular season. We had some comments on the hockey rankings, and I would just be curious for you, Kenny. The gentleman basically said that power rankings are worthless, which I tend to agree with. It's regular season what they do in the playoffs. But are any of these teams in jeopardy? Let's say of the 5, would you almost guarantee one of these 5 teams is in the NBA Finals?
Yes.
So one of these teams definitely should be in the NBA Finals.
Yes.
Would you want to go on record as to who? Or do you want to save it for Saturday night or Saturday afternoon for the NBA playoffs?
I'll save it Saturday. Saturday, you know what? I don't.
You want you don't want to give us any inside information. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So each week, Kenny, before we finish the show, I give you a challenge. And this week, your challenge was to give me your top 5 NBA defensive players of all time.
Yeah.
And you said this was a tough one. So you're going 5-1. And I mean, you impressed me with the Boston Celtics head coaches, and you throw Chris Ford in there and some guys I was a little questioned.
Hey, that was easy.
And you convinced me.
That was my youth. Growing up in Boston, that was my youth.
Can you convince me right now with these top 5 defensive players? I don't know. I don't feel confident in you.
You know what? I struggled with this.
Okay. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna do a Ron right now. Okay. I'm gonna do a Ron. I have a couple of honorable mentions.
All right. There we go.
This is for Ron.
That's what we call in the business as a Ron. Yes. Ron, give me your top 5. I got 15 guys. So yes.
That's right. Couple of honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
Metta World Peace.
Metta
World Peace.
Takes a knock because of the fight.
Yeah, he didn't make the list, but
he didn't make the list. But he fought people in the stands, bro. You're talking about a tough guy.
Yeah.
If he was on the Ron's tough guy list, we could do that.
He'd have made it.
All right.
He'd have made it. Kawhi Leonard. Honorable mention.
Kawhi. Okay.
Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
Dwight Howard. Honorable mention. Young Dwight. He won it 3 times. 3 times All Defensive Player of the Year.
I could see that. Young Dwight.
Honorable mention. Ben Wallace.
Well, I can't believe he's not in the top 5.
Ben Wallace.
Wow. Okay. So this,
Wallace.
You always come up with a shock for me.
He's won it 4 times. Unbelievable.
Ben Wallace. I mean, he was so dominant for those 4 years in a row with Detroit.
Oh my gosh, he was amazing. Honorable mention, Dikembe Mutombo.
No.
He has
one of the best blockers in NBA history.
Yes, he has won it 4 times also.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay. Honorable mention.
So now we got that. So those guys you just mentioned were pretty damn good.
You're pretty damn good, right?
And you're going to give me 5 guys better than that.
Yeah.
Okay, I cannot wait.
Mm-hmm. Number 5, Dennis Rodman.
At 5, you are blowing my mind right now. I am about to just shut this thing down because Dennis Rodman is your 5th best defensive player of all time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He's won it 5 times. I'm sorry, he's won it 2 times.
Yeah.
And if you get this right, you get a prize.
Okay.
How many triple doubles do you think Dennis Rodman had in his career? And what team did he play for?
Oh, San Antonio, 3.
No. Not even close. 1.
Oh.
And it was with the Chicago Bulls.
Oh. I thought that was too easy, too obvious with the Bulls. I said, I know it's going to be one of those. He played for San Antonio for like a minute.
You're right. right. For a week.
Yeah.
For a week. Yeah. We're going to have to cut you. Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's got to be San Antonio. All right. I like it. So Dennis Rodman at 5. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Number 4. I'm going to hate myself in the morning because everybody knows how I feel about Jordan. So Michael Jordan was number 4. Number four. Number four.
Kenny,
You know why? You know why?
go ahead. Go ahead.
I struggle with this, yo. I say, oh my God. And he has been on the all-time defensive NBA team 9 times.
Mhm.
9 times.
Okay. And
He's a
yet,
player. What?
fourth.
Nine?
The
Yeah.
greatest, one of the greatest scorers in NBA history.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
One of, I didn't say the greatest, one of the greatest scorers of all time in NBA history.
Yeah.
9-time, though, defensive player in the
Mhm.
NBA.
Team.
He was a two-way,
team defense.
right? Team defensive player. You think about two-way player.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan was that guy. It wasn't just about points. Everybody forgets about what he did on defense.
He led in steals. He led in. Oh my gosh, he was amazing. But number 4 in defense.
Number 4. I don't. Okay. Still makes the list. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's because of the flu game. He ain't no damn flu. So
here we go. The conspiracy theorist.
Yep. Number 3, Gary Payton.
The glove, baby.
Glove, baby. He was nasty. He was just like, oh. I mean, he would sit in that chair and just like, oh, what you got? What you got? What you got? What you got?
He made defense sexy.
Yes.
In that era, because that era started to turn. The 90s was more about scoring and the flat, but he was that guy. When you talk about defense, you would always say the glove. Like Gary Payton was that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I remember just even when they got to the finals that year, and it was like, Jordan's not going to be able to score on Payton. Yeah, and granted, Jordan did. But, but in your mind, you just thought he was that good defensively that he could stop anybody. No, I like that one at 3. I think that's pretty good. But these next 2 need to blow me away, Kenny, because I'm still a little shocked on the Dennis Rodman at 5 thing. So, and then the honorable mention, some of these guys I think look like the top 5. So I don't even know where we're going right now.
Number 2.
Hold on. Let me.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. I'm ready. I'm ready.
You ready?
Yep.
I got to give it to him. Number 2, Tony Allen.
Yo, no, come on. No way.
Tony Allen.
Over Gary Payton.
Tony Allen. Who's a Kobe stopper? Tony Allen. Who's a LeBron stopper? Tony Allen.
Kenny?
Hey.
No.
Even Kobe. Kobe said the only person that I ever had problems with was Tony Allen.
Kenny?
Tony Allen.
Over Gary Payton.
What
is no way.
He's a LeBron stopper.
I listen, when he was with
Kobe stopper.
When he was with Boston, I loved him. He was. And then what, he go to Memphis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, solid player. Okay, number 2 though. Okay, all right. I'm gonna give it. Listen.
It's because of him. We got 2008. Okay.
Was he not on the 2019?
Yeah.
Okay. Did we get one then too?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't stop Kobe that one.
You can't win them all.
All right. Okay. Tony Allen. Over honorable mention Dikembe Mutombo. Oh, I can't. I don't. Dennis Rodman at 5. The glove at 3. Tony Allen comes in at 2. But okay, go ahead.
Number 1.
Def Left Shrimp.
Rick
Schmidt.
He couldn't play D to save his life. Def Left Shrimp.
Rick Schmitz.
Wang Zhu.
Hey!
Zhu.
Jeremy Lin.
No,
none of these guys.
None of these guys. The second best power forward in NBA history, Kevin Garnett. So
I'm going to say this now. I feel like there's a little bias. I don't know. There's a little picture behind you. And I just feel like, I just feel like the Tony out. So the top 2 defensive players of all time are both former Boston Celtics players. not a Karl Malone. No, he was a David Robinson, a Tim Duncan, Patrick Ewing, Kevin Garnett. Listen, Kevin Garnett, probably the hardest working basketball player in the last 30 years, where the guy was all heart. Listen, and he changed the complete atmosphere of Boston when he got there, where everybody thought it was the big three because of the offense. It wasn't. It was what he did defensively.
Yeah.
I will say, look, he's one of the, yes, he's in that conversation for one of the best power forwards of all time. And he is extremely good defensively. I don't know if he's the best ever. I mean, I would put him in the top 5. I agree with you there. I just think there's some guys out there that may, and listen, I'm a Gary Payton. He's so close to 2 to me. Maybe I could come out, and I think Rodman, I would have put a little bit. Maybe Tony Allen at 5. Maybe. I don't know. Who are the honorable mentions again? Dikembe. Because I feel like we missed something here. Tony Allen, Kevin Garnett, 1, 2. Kenny, I'm afraid about what we're gonna do next week.
I'm so ready for this.
All right. Kwame Brown is going to be the number 1 on this list, because I feel like what I'm going to ask you for is the top 5 number 1 draft picks of all time.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, Kwame Brown. Who else? Kwame's on there, isn't he?
First round or first number 1?
Number 1 picks.
Ooh.
So you're gonna have to do some digging back in the day. Who was some number 1 picks, and then who's the number 1? Who's 5 through 1 best number 1 draft picks of all time?
Oh, Eric Montross.
There's been some good ones. There's been some bad ones.
Eric Montross.
Eric Montross. He wasn't 1 though. He didn't go 1. What was that? Who went ahead of Jordan?
Sam Bowie.
Sam Bowie. You know what I mean? Like, if you got Sam Bowie on there, and he's in the same draft class as Michael Jordan, Kenny, we're done with the NBA ranking show. Okay? I'm just telling you now. We're not doing anymore because I'm still questioning this Tony Allen thing.
Oh, gosh.
Number 1 draft pick by the Boston Celtics. Who have they had? Ron Mercer. No, it was Chauncey Billups.
Yep.
Was Billups 1? No, they were 3-5 that year, wasn't it?
Yeah. 3-5. Yeah.
3-5. Have they? Who's been their most recent number 1? The Celtics. Have they had one?
No, they haven't had one in a long time.
Hey. Okay.
Let's
see what you come up with. I'm excited to find out what you come up with. Kenny, you've been amazing tonight. Some good laughs too, man. You really got me on this one. You got me on this one.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. The comedian side of
it. And for those that don't know, now you know. Dennis Rodman won triple-double the Chicago Bulls his entire career. Not San Antonio. It wasn't. It was a trick question. But I want to thank you for your NBA time. I want you guys to know, if you enjoy what you're watching from Sports Unfolded, tune in on Friday nights at 6 p.m. Yes. Do my regular show with Ron. We do every sports topic imaginable. We've got a lot to talk about this week. He's already fired up. There's a Cam Newton story out there.
Woo.
We're going to talk about the Lakers, Kenny, and that debacle.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Let me ask you this one question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Frank Vogel's fault that the LA Lakers didn't make the playoffs?
No, it wasn't his fault.
So we're going to be discussing that topic, and I think it's going to get pretty heated. We already know how Ron feels about LeBron James, so this could be. We might have to go a half hour just on the Lakers. Because I can feel like we're going to have a list upon list on that topic. But we've got so much to cover on Friday. And then Saturday afternoon, We're going to beat the playoff rush before the games start, and we're going to do our NBA playoff preview, and we're going to pick the winner. We're going to pick the finals matchup and who wins the NBA finals. I would say put money right now. Kenny's going to pick Cleveland. No, Cleveland. I apologize. I forgot that you still have New Orleans and San Antonio in the West. Those may be a lock for you. One of those teams is a lock for you. If you want the craziest insight in the history of sports, tune in to Sports Unfolded NBA rankings. The big dog every time. You've got too many nicknames. My main man Mickey, who does our baseball rankings, the Pit Boss. That's what you're known as, the Pit Boss. So, the Pit Boss. But I want to thank you for your time today, Kenny. Follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram, or listen to our podcast on Rhode Island Broadcasting on Amazon, Anchor, Google, Spotify, and TuneIn. Check us out. Kenny, a phenomenal NBA season. Thank you for all your rankings, 24 weeks of rankings. Unreal. And now we get into the best part of it. We get the playoffs, baby. So tune in for that Saturday. Kenny, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. All right, everybody out there, you guys take care. I do want to just mention really quick again a couple of big stories. The New York senseless violence that happened today. We pray for those families and everybody that was involved in that. Such a shame that we continue to have these stories come out in the world. Yes, we cover sports, but we're human as well, and it's just sad to see these type of stories continue to happen. And then Gilbert Godfrey, phenomenal comedian, such a impeccable voice. Somebody that no matter when you heard him, you knew it was him. Unfortunately, passed away. So we've lost some great comedic talents in the last couple of months. And he had just posted a picture with Louis Anderson. And, it was so we lost Louis and Bob Saget and him. They were all in the picture together a few months ago, and now all three of them are gone. So you think about what we lost from a comedic standpoint. And you know what? It's okay to laugh. We need some laughs, so it's a shame. But we'll continue to try to bring you some comic relief as well with Kenny's picks. So we'll do that for you. We'll do that for you. But let's get some peace in this world. Kenny, thank you again, brother.
Thank you, Eric.